Okay, I can see the chats now. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible, everyone? Please let me know that. Please tell me, guys. Am I audible to everyone? I can see your chats now. So please let me know in the chat that am I audible? And good evening, all of you. I welcome you again to the React.js session. And today I have a really exciting thing for you, waiting for you. So you tell me first, am I audible? Can you see my blue screen? Everyone, please tell me. Okay, that is really great. That is really great. Okay. So, okay, I see very less people today, but that's fine. That's fine. Maybe we'll build up the things. So at that time, people will come. Okay, not a problem. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. So if you don't know me, my name is Saurabh Gupta, and I'm a full stack application web developer by profession, and I also teach at Let's Upgrade. Okay. So today I'm going to take your last React.js session in which I have planned a really cool project for you and where we're going to learn some new things about React as well that people find confusing. So we're going to learn all of that as well. Okay. Okay. Really cool. Really cool. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Good evening once again. Some new people are joining now. Okay. So first of all, I would like to tell you about the thing that we're going to build today. So actually, we are going to build something today. Okay. So let me tell you like what we are going to build today. And you tell me, are you like guys liking it? Are you guys excited about it? Tell me that. So I have planned that we will build a Indian news app or website, whatever we call it. Let's call it app. So we're going to build an Indian news app in React where the news will come, like what you call it, the new news will always come from India's portal. So there is a portal named News API, and I'm going to show you how to fetch a news, the list of news from an API. So we're going to learn how to call APIs in React today. That is first thing. So I'm going to show you how to fetch news, new news or day-wise news from an API. Okay, that is one thing. We'll display all of that. We'll see how to display it properly. We're going to see how to map it, how to like perform events on it, how going to like display it on another page. And I'm also going to show you how to search for some like related news. For example, I want to search for news related to Microsoft. I want to search for news related to Apple. I can type in and I can search for it. Okay. So this is what we are going to build today. Okay. Now you guys tell me, are you guys excited about this project? Everyone, are we excited about this project? So we're going to build a news app in which we're going to learn how to call an API from the backend, how to get data from it, how to display it. So we'll have live new news every time. And also we're going to build a search where a person can search something and based on that, he can receive the news. So all of this, and we're going to display it in a very cool format. We're going to look like we're going to make our website look really cool. And if we have some extra time, I can also teach you routing in React. Okay. So I really hope that you guys know, right? Routing is one of the uh, important topics in React. So if we get time at the end, I'll teach you some basics of routing in React. Okay, but on the other hand, we are going to learn how to call network in React and also one of the most important hooks. So I think you have already learned one of the hooks, right? You have already learned the use state hook, right, guys? Everyone, you have already learned the use state hook, right? So today we're going to learn one of the most important hooks, that is use effect. So if you don't know it, don't worry, we're going to learn that as well. But if you know it, totally fine. You can still be there because we're going to see how to use the use effect in the perfect way. Okay, so that is really cool. Okay, so we're going to see one hook, and if we get time, I'll also show you router. So don't worry, people who are like waiting for routing, don't worry, let's go for it. So if you understand everything, if you are with me, we'll definitely get time at the end. Okay, and we'll do the router thing. So can we start, everyone? Okay, guys, can we start? And please call your friends and everyone who wants to learn React and who wants to see project building. They can come join us and they can learn with us, right? So if you want, you can also call your friends and everyone so that they can join, so that we can have numbers and we can like really move ahead, and so that a lot of people can learn. Okay, so that is cool. Okay, So now see, I hope you can see my screen. So I have already a project installed, because I know that you guys know how to install a project. You have learned it in the last 5 days. So I already have a project installed. Very simple, very plain, and I just named it news. And everything else, I really hope that you guys know, right? Because in the last 5 days, you have learned how to create a React project, how to use it, and how to run it. So I already have it installed. Okay, cool. So you can see we have the node models, public, and the folders that we need, then SRC and everything. So we have everything. So let's run it and let's start building it. I really hope you guys know, right, what we have here. This is one thing that we are using from the last 5 days. So we have it here. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's start, everyone. So first of all, let's run this project. Okay. So I'll open my terminal in VS Code. Okay. And do the basic thing that we always do to run a project. We'll simply perform our npm start, and this will run our project. It will take a little time, around 30 seconds, and it will start running our project. So let's see. Sandeep is asking, what project are we going to build? We are going to build a news app. Okay, we are going to build a news feed app where we will see how to extract news from the API to our application using React hooks and the JavaScript methods. Okay. So here we go. Our development server is starting, and now it is up and running. Let me just pull out the browser for you. So here we go. Okay. So it is running. Let it execute. Let it be on the page first, and then we can start building our components and using the state and the other hook that I want to explain you today. Okay. Okay, it's taking a little time. Let it run. First time it takes a little time. That's totally fine. Okay. And before if this is starting, till the time I want to ask few things. So you guys know JavaScript, right? Because we are learning React. So you guys know JavaScript. So do you know that fetch functionality that we have in JavaScript, guys? Everyone? Do you guys know that fetch functionality that we have in JavaScript? Don't worry, Balakumar, I'll zoom it. Let the page run, then I'll open the code and I'll zoom it. Don't worry. Right now, let's keep it like this. Don't worry, I'm going to zoom it. Okay. Compiled successfully. Let's see. And here we go. We have our page. Pretty cool. But we'll remove all of this right now because we don't need it. So we know that it comes from app.js, which is your main component. So let's go there. And guys, can you see my code? Or should I zoom it? Everyone? Can you see, or should I zoom it a little more? I'll zoom it once. Now you tell me. Everyone, can you see it? Guys, can you see this? Okay. Okay, cool. Shubh is asking, how do you manage? No, I didn't do it. I named my app in normal lowercase. It is VS Code who is doing this. This is done by VS Code. So the actual name is in lowercase. Don't worry. This is what VS Code is doing. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, guys. So let's remove the unwanted code first that we don't need. So let's go on and remove it. And I'm expecting that you guys know what is component, and I am expecting that you guys know what is use state hook, right? Because you have used it in the last 5 days. So I'm expecting that you have it. So I'm assuming that you know use state. I'm assuming that you know how to build components, and from that we're going to build everything. Okay, but don't worry, all the things that I'm going to teach, I'm going to explain you as well, because today we're going to get introduced with one more hook, and I'm going to explain it in some time. Don't worry. Okay, guys. So let's start. Save it, and the page should be refreshing there. And here we go. Gone, clean, perfect. So now, guys, let's build a new component. Okay, let's build a new component first, because I don't like to put all my code in app component, because I like to keep it clean, because this is the main component. And when I do perform routing and everything, I come here a lot. Okay, that's why I like to keep it clean. I never do my code in app component, only if it is very necessary, only if you feel like there is nothing else in your project, it's never going to be big, you can do an app component. But normally when you think that your project is going to include routing and all sorts of stuff, don't do anything in app component, keep it clean. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more file. Okay, I'm going to create, actually first of all let's create a folder. Okay, so I create a folder and I name it components. in this, I'm going to keep all my created components. So app is a by default component, right? App is a by default component which is already there. So let's leave it. Now I create one more folder inside src where I'll keep my own components, the components that I create. Okay, so here we go. Now that folder is there. Now inside that folder, let's start creating our own components. Now if you want, you can ditch this components folder. You can directly create your file, right? You can directly create your file anywhere in the src, but the problem is that will not be structured to, like, you'll struggle to find your components properly. So just to maintain a file structure and folder structure, I'm creating a components folder in which I'll put all my components. Okay, it makes like it it makes our project look easier and finding the files more easier. Okay, so let's do it. So right click in the folder and new file, and let's name this um, main, or let's name this like index. You can name it whatever you want, right? So let me name it main. So main.js. Okay, so this is my main page. According to me, this is my main component. Okay, app is main, but it's according to the project. We're going to include everything there, but according to me, my main is this main.js. Okay, so let's start. Let's build this component. Everyone, let's get started. So simple function. We have learned this, right, guys? You have learned it in the last 5 days. Main, and that's it. And then you have a return in which you return an HTML element. So you can simply, for now, let's say in H1, I am main, something like that. Save it. But now this component will not be visible, right? Because only, like, whatever component is included on the app component, that is the only component visible. That means whatever component you create doesn't matter. You have to include it on the app component, because app component is the only component that is what you call is displayed in the browser, right? Loaded or rendered in the browser. So all other components that you create, you have to directly or indirectly include it on the app, right? That's so simple. No, you cannot use JSX extension, Sandeep. No, you cannot use JSX. No. Okay, JSX is something, this you call this JSX. If you create a JSX file, then it will think that you're only going to write this. All other functionalities will not work. It should be JS because it's at the end, everything is JavaScript. Okay, but now I want to include it. So now basically I want to include my main component on my app component. But before that, we know that you have again learned this in last 5 days. The first thing, if you want to include this main component on your app component, you have to import the main component here. And to import the main component first, you have to export it from here. To import anything in React, you have to first export it. So let's first of all export it. So export default main. That's it. So once you export it, you can simply import it here. So let's import it. So let's just write a comment here. Component imports, just to maintain the code structure. That's all. A comment, and let's do it. Import main from the file, like the folder structure now, the path dot slash, we have what? Components, the folder. Components slash, inside that we have what? The main file, and that's it. Done. Now we have imported it. Is that clear, guys? So from here we are exporting the main, and here we are importing it. And now we can simply go here and use it as a tag. That's it. Main slash main, and it should be working. Save it, and now I should be seeing the JSX generated by the main component on my browser because I have included it on the app component. Let's see. I should be seeing what? I am main. Let's see. Perfect. I can see it. Everyone, this is like what you already know, right? Everyone, guys, this is something that you already know. Everyone, I think we know this, right, guys? Okay, please tell me once, guys. Everyone, please tell me. This is what we already know, right? This is what we have learned till now. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Please let me in the chat. I think the chats are getting like late, or my voice is reaching late to you guys, but that's fine. There is a little bit delay. That's fine. We can go with it. Okay. I want answers from everyone, guys. Please tell me, everyone. I want to make sure that everyone is understanding everything. Okay. Cool. And you guys also know about state. You guys also know about state. That means you know that we can create a state variable by using the useState hook, right? And you know, right? Now, guys, just like for a simple quiz, what is like a significance of a state variable? Come on, guys, anyone? Just for a simple question. Don't worry if you don't know it, and even if it is broken, even if you like know a little bit, just tell me that, because I know that you know it. You have learned it. So you guys tell me, what is the significance of a state variable? What is the significance of a state variable? Come on, guys, tell me. You know it, right? Till the time I will import it, till the time you tell me in the chat what is the significance of a state variable. And we know to create a state variable here, we simply use the useState hook. So I have to import it first. Let's import it. You have learned this as well in the last and last to last session. So use state from React. Okay, dynamic. Sandeep is saying dynamic, handling dynamic content, to hold data, to display dynamically, values. Okay, guys, come on, answer me, everyone. I want answer from everyone. Mutable. Okay. 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 Fine. 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 I'll answer it for you. To store dynamic content. Okay. I'll answer it for you. It's really simple. See, first of all, state variables do nothing. They work like a normal variable in like first case, that they also store values. They also store values. The second, and what is the significance? Like, what is the thing that make a state variable different than normal variable is whenever the value of a state variable changes, the component re-renders. Whenever the value of the state variable changes, the component re-renders itself. You know this, right, guys? Everyone, remember this. That's what makes state variables so special. You can also store data in normal variables. You can also store data in state variables. But what is the significance of storing in state variables? If the data of state variable changes, that means if the state changes, the component re-renders. That is the significance. Okay. Variable by themselves only change bits in memory, and the state of your app can get out of sync with the view. Yes, Sushil Kumar Prajapati, that's correct, buddy. That's correct. Okay, guys, so everyone, are we clear with this? So the simple explanation would be whenever the value of state changes, any state variable changes, the component re-renders. Okay, guys, are we cleared? Everyone, just remember this line and everything will be easy for you. Okay, cool. Now you have already learned this, how to create a state variable. So let's me directly create it just to show you. Okay, so let's say we create a variable named data. Okay, so how do you do it, guys? Const, you do two things. First, the variable name. Second, the method that you'll use to change that variable's data. So you normally call it set plus that name. So set data, right? Equals to use state and the initial value. So in this case, I can put like 23, doesn't matter. Okay, that means the value of the data variable initially is 23, and I can use this set data function to change the value of data variable. And whenever I change it, the component will re-render itself. That's for sure. That is for sure. Okay, that's why you see the live changes on the output. That's why you see the live change on the output, right? Because whenever state value changes, the component re-renders. It repaints the DOM, right? That's why you see the new output. Okay, remember this, guys. Everyone, please remember this. Okay, and I really hope that you already know it, but I just wanted to clear it out once. Okay, to confirm it, let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. Let's display it. So let's display it here. Okay, so I'm displaying data here. Okay, let's see if it is working till now. Okay, have I made a mistake here? Let's see, I think. Is there an issue somewhere? Okay, we don't have to use set normally. Let's see, I think I have made a mistake somewhere. Let me directly write it like by using the syntax. Use state Yeah, it was correct, right? See, normal data, same thing. What is the issue then? Yep, now we got it. What was the issue? Was this the issue that I had named it like set data? I think that was the issue. I forgot I put the capital D. Was that the issue? Nope, that is not even the issue. Strange. I did the exact same thing, right? Oh, yes, 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 yes. I forgot. I forgot. I put square bracket. Yep, yep. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out. Manohar. Yep, I forgot that. Yes, yes, yes. I was in the flow of this bracket. That's cool. That's cool. That happens. That's totally fine. And yes, logo is defined but never used. Let's remove it. We don't need it. Let's remove it. Otherwise, we'll keep getting these warnings. Let's remove it. Yes, 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 everyone. Yep, that was one mistake I did. So sorry for that. Okay, now let's see. Let's see if we change the value, is the component repainting. Let's do it and let's see. Because for the next hook to to understand, we have to understand this correctly. Okay. So let's create a button, but we know that from return, we can only return a single element. Okay. So single parent element. So let's put all of this inside a div. This h1 and everything put inside a div. And inside that, I'm simply creating one button just for now. And on this button, I will change the value of the state just to show you that it is repainting. Okay. So let's say click, that's all. And here on click, I'm going to call a function. So for that, let's create a function here. Let's create a function named change value. Okay. And this will do nothing. It will simply change the value. That's all. It will simply change the value. Doesn't matter to which, doesn't matter to what value, but it will simply change the value. That's all. So let's do it. So what do we have to call? Set data. This is the function that will help you to change the value of the state variable. Set data. And let's say we just change it to 56. Doesn't matter. 56. Totally fine. And let's call that function on click. So on click. Okay. And what is the function name? Change value. And that should be working now. Let's see if this is working. Now, guys, please focus. See, if I click on this button, it will call change value. Change value is changing the state variable's value from 23 to 56. And if it is changing to 56, and if I can see the live output on my browser page, that means my DOM is repainting. This doesn't happen with normal variable. It only happens with state variable. You change it and you can see the live change. That it is happening because the component is re-rendering itself. Okay, let's see. Save it and let's do it. Let's do the click here, guys. And please focus. Here we go. You saw it, right? We saw it changing live. It's because the component is re-rendering. So once I change the value of the state variable, the component re-rendered and we saw the change. Is that clear? That's the significance of a state variable. If you create a normal variable like this, for example, create a normal variable like this, let's say text, okay? And if put something inside this and you change it, the component will never re-render. For this, the component will never re-render. It only works in special cases like state. Okay, so it doesn't work for normal variables. Component re-renders only for state variables. Okay, cool. So guys, are we clear with this? And this is what you already knew, but I just wanted to clear it out because today we are going to learn something really new. One more hook and one of the most important hooks. One of the most important hooks, which is a lot of people find it confusing. That's why I just revised it once so that you can when we move on to the next hook, you can understand what we are doing. Everyone, are we clear with this? Can we see the new hook? Everyone, can we see the new hook now? Can we start learning about the new hook? Everyone, please tell me. Most important hook, one of the most important hooks in React. Okay, so let's start. The next hook, and of the most important hooks in React, is this: use. But first of all, let's import it. So it comes from the same package, so you can simply put a comma here and just put it. Okay, so use effect, and then it goes like this. use effect brackets, and it has a callback function inside it. Goes like this. Okay, so import use effect and then call it use effect and then simply put a callback function inside it. Now, use effect does a lot of things. That's why people get confused about it. But let's try to understand it in the simplest way possible. Use effect is a side effect function. Okay, that means it's a function that can be called if something happens. It's a function that can be called if something happens. Okay, so it's like a side effect. Something happens, then this will happen. Okay, now we can decide where I want to use this side effect, where I want to use this effect. Now you can call it side effect, you cannot call it, don't worry. It's just a term that people use. Even the React main page, you like the React official documentation use this word called side effect. So what is side effect? It's basically when you perform something, based on that something else is happening. So that something else is called as side effect. Okay. So use effect is nothing but it's a side effect function. Okay, which is called based on something else. Now, what is that? We're going to learn about that. And when to use the use effect and how to call use effect, we're going to learn all about that now. But are we understanding the basic concept, everyone? Use effect is called based on some performance, based on some event. Okay, guys, are we getting cleared here? Whether callback and arrow functions are same. See, arrow function is a syntax of making functions. Callback function is a concept, is a different concept. It's when you pass functions as a parameter. That's when it becomes callback. When you pass functions, sorry, not parameters, when you pass functions as arguments and the other function is using it inside itself, then it's a callback function. An arrow function is nothing, it's just a way of writing functions. Okay, so an arrow function can be a callback function, not a problem at all. Okay, so don't get confused between callback and arrow functions. Arrow function is just a way of writing functions. Callback functions is a concept of calling the functions. Okay, what is hooks in simple words, Zahid? It's just functionality. That's all. Just nothing but a function that is doing something. At the end, everything is a function. So hooks are nothing but at the end, they are nothing but a function. Okay, but in React, they do different things. Like use state is a hook that represents the state, creates the state for you, maintains the state for you. Use effect is a hook that basically provides you with a function that can be called based on some event. Is that clear, guys? Okay, see, first of all, this was just a one-line explanation. Let's see, let's try to understand. See, guys, please focus. Now, everyone, please focus. Okay, so use effect in this case will be called every time the component is rendered. By default, when you write use effect, it will be called every time the component is rendered. Remember this, guys. Use effect by default is called every time the component is rendered. That means once the component rendered, use effect is called. So use effect is just like a function that is getting called after render. So it's like a side effect function getting called after render. Always getting called after render. So if you write use effect like this, it will be called after the render of the component. To show you this, let's do this. Console.log I am after render. Okay, let's see. Simple, normal use effect right now. Let's see. Let's go here. See, you already got it. Let's refresh it. See, here we go. I'm after render. So whenever his component is rendering, I can see I'm after render. Let's re-render the component once more. We know that if I click, the state will change. And if the state changes, the component will re-render. And if it is re-rendering, I should get the use effect output here. Let's see it. Click, and here we go. Can you see the number increased of I am after render? Because the use effect was called once again. I changed the state, and state change made the component re-render, and the component got re-rendered. So basically, the use effect was also called again. So by default, use effect is called after the render of the component. Yes, yes, yes. We can control rendering. No, we don't control rendering using use effect. No, we don't control that. There is different thing that we control, and you're going to learn that. Don't worry. Are we understanding the basic one, guys? Everyone, please tell me. It has a lot of steps. So first of all, you understood when you write a normal use effect. First of all, use effect is a function which will be called on something else. So if something else happens, I will be called. Right now, if the component is rendering, I will be called. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, are we clear with this? Now, I can also tell use effect when you have to get called, because by default it is getting called based on render. I can also tell use effect when you should be called. Okay. The use effect function has one more parameter. In here, you can pass an array, and inside an array, you can mention now all the data based on which you want to call this use effect. Based on which you want to call this use effect. Okay. So if I mention my variable like this, data here, let's put it here. I put it here. Now, this use effect will not work for render. Now, this use effect will only work for data. So if data changes, use effect will be called. It will not work for render now. If the data changes, use effect will be called. So I have mentioned now, fine. If data changes, you have inside this array, you can put all the like functions or like variables or all the data on based on which you want to call this use effect. So now I tell my use effect, okay, fine, I'm passing data to you. That means now if this variable changes, you have to be called. You have to call yourself. Is that cleared, guys? Are we cleared? Now it will not work for render. Now it will not work for render. It will work for what? Data. If data changes, it will be called. Okay, everyone. But in this case, the problem is data is also changing the state and changing is also re-rendering. So how will I understand that now it is not working for rendering? So for understanding that, let's do one thing. Let's create one more variable. Okay, guys, just to get cleared, just to make you guys cleared that now it is not working for rendering, it is working for data change. Let's create one more state variable that is capable of changing, like rendering the component once more. Let's see it. Everyone, let's focus on it. Okay. So let's say we call it name. Okay. Or let's make it like this. Use state. Let's say name. And let's say the initial value is my name, Saurabh. Okay. Now you guys know that if I change data, the component will re-render. If I change name, the component will re-render. So the component will re-render on both. Okay. But now use effect is only working for data change. That if I change the name and even if the component re-renders, use effect should not be called. Let's confirm it. So let's also create a button that will change the name. Okay. Let's create a button that will change the name simply. That's all. Okay, guys. It is just for you now, just so that you get cleared. Okay. Let's call it change name. I want to show you that now it is only working for data and not for render. So on click, okay, let's write the functionality directly here of changing the name. Okay. Set name. So I'm simply changing the name to, let's say, let's upgrade. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, guys, please focus. Please focus, guys. Please focus now. Okay. Now see. Refresh, clear the console. Yep. First I'm after render because it is the initial value. Initially, if data is changing to 23, it is getting called. Perfect. First time it will be definitely called because initially data is also null. And when this function is getting called, use state is getting called, 23 is settling up. That's why use effect got called. Now, let's see. If I change the data value, it gets called. I'm after render. Perfect. Now let's see if I change the name. We know that change name will also cause re-render, but is it? And also let's okay, let's keep the message same. Now we know that if I click on change name, it will change the state value name, and if state value changes, the component re-renders. But now I want to make sure that is use effect getting called after changing name. If it is not, that means now it is perfectly working for data. Let's see. And here we go. Can you see that? I clicked on change name. Just to confirm you, let's auto display the name. Otherwise, you'll think nothing is happening. Okay. So let's display the name, guys. Name here. Save it. Okay. Refresh. Okay, cool. Now we have Saurabh. Let's see. I click, I get. See, now we have 2 times here. But do I click change name? We know that when I click change name, Saurabh will be changed. And if Saurabh is changed, that means component is re-rendering. But is this getting called? Let's see. I'll zoom it for you. See if it's 2. Now I do it. Change name. The component got re-rendered. I see let's upgrade here, but the use effect was not called. Right? Everyone. So that is the one thing I want to tell you. Now use effect is only working for data change, not for component renders. It's now only working for data change. Is that clear? Now if you want, you can mention like this, data and name both. So it will work for data and name both. So you can mention all the data variables that you want based on which you want to call use effect. Everyone, are we cleared now? That means if you don't mention anything like this, it works for render. If you mention an array of values, use effect now will only work for those values. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared with this? Everyone? This is where people find it complex. So I just want to make sure, are we cleared? Okay. Everyone, I want answers from everyone. Guys, come on. I want answers from everyone. Okay, that is really cool. Now, there is one more way. There is one more way of using it. Okay. The last way, actually. Not the exact last way, but in this case, the last way. You can also pass a blank array. Basically, we are using use effect in three different ways. One, if you don't mention anything, it's simply will be called on each render. If you mention something, it will simply be called on that thing, on that change. But if you just mention a blank array, now what will happen? If you just mention a blank array, now what will happen? Let's change it to I'm after render. Let's simply call it use effect called, simply, so that it's easier to understand. Okay. Now, what if you simply mention a blank array? So it becomes a lifecycle method now. It becomes a lifecycle method now. It works like a lifecycle method now. Okay. So now what will happen? This use effect will be called only once when the component is mounted. It will not call for render. It will not call for any data. It will be called once when the component is mounted. That means the first time the component loads. Okay. That's it. After that, whatever happens, whatever state changes, whatever happens, doesn't care. Just to show you, let's see it. If I refresh, and see use effect called because component got mounted. Now if I change everything, change data, doesn't matter, change name, doesn't matter, component is re-rendering, variables are changing, but nothing is getting called because it is only called when component is mounted. Is that cleared, everyone? When the component is mounted, that's all. So if you pass a blank array, this use effect will be only called when the component is mounted. So these are the three main ways by which you can call the use effect. One, if you don't mention anything, it will be called for each render, each re-render. If you mention a blank array for component mount, that means for the first time the component loads. Okay, when the component loads. And if you mention data in it, and if you mention some variables in it, now it will be called based on that variable change. So guys, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared? So these are the three ways. Remember, guys, these are the three ways. Okay, always remember this. And we're going to see more about this. Don't worry, in some time, or maybe in future, once you join our advanced sessions where I'm going to teach you all of this, or maybe in some other essentials. But don't worry, these are the basic things now. Okay, guys, so are we cleared now? And now these three main uses of these are the three main uses of use effect. Now, depending on our needs, we can use it in any case, in any scenario. Okay, so based on state change, based on prop change, we can call use effect. Based on render, we can call use effect. And based on component mounts, we can call use effect. Now, it depends on us what I want to perform when and how I want to use the use effect. Okay. Okay, Jignesh is asking, it's a good question. What is the difference between render and mounted? Okay. Mounted is when the component is in the browser or in the stack, right? That is the current component. So component is mounted. Render is painting the things that you have. Okay, painting your elements that you want created on the browser. That is what render means. Mounted is component. This component is currently mounted. That means this component is currently displayed in the browser. Okay, and render means painting your elements on the browser, all the elements. So component is the whole thing and all the elements are rendered inside it. Okay, if I re-render, component is still there, but only the painting is changed, the elements have changed, component is still there. Okay, but if I re-render, maybe they will change or maybe they will be painted again. And component unmounted means it is removed. Now you don't have it, you don't have the component. Okay, so mounted is like component is loaded, loading is mounting. Okay, and rendering means basically painting it, changing few things in between it. Component is still loaded but changing the things. Okay, like for example, if I refresh the page, component is loaded, now it's mounted. Now if I click here, component is still there, but now this is what is rendering means, rendering and re-rendering. I'm simply changing the painting, simply changing the elements values, and they are changing my output, but the component is still there, it's loaded. And if I close the browser now, component will be unmounted, or if I open some other component, component will be unmounted. That is what is called unmounted. Is that clear? Yes, Hema Kumar, use context is different, but that is something we are not learning right now. Use context is different. Use context is for like the global state share. That is different. Okay. Okay. Hema. Yes, yes, yes. I'll explain the cleanup function. Don't worry, Naina. Let's start first. I'll explain the cleanup function. Don't worry, Naina. Don't worry. Okay. I'll explain it as well. And thank you, Debong Gamer. Thank you for attending, buddy. Thank you for attending. Really means a lot. Okay, guys. So if we are cleared with it, let's go ahead and let's fetch the news data. Now, remember, guys, I want to fetch my news data. I want to fetch my news data when the component is mounted. That means I have to use this kind of use effect, blank array, because when you pass blank array, it is called on the component mounting. So I want to fetch my news data on component mounting. So I'll keep my use effect like this. And now inside this, I'm going to write the code to fetch the news data. Is that clear, everyone? Guys? Yes, Bikram, set state is asynchronous. Yes. Yes, Bikram. Set state is asynchronous. Yes. Okay, guys. So can we start now? Everyone, can we start? Guys, can we start? So I want to fetch my news details when the component is mounted. That's why I'm keeping my use effect like this. Okay, let's start. So now to fetch, first of all, I want to introduce the API that I'm going to use. So there is a website named News API. Okay, where is that? Yep, here we go. This newsapi.org. You have to come here, sign in, create your account. It's simple, just log in, and then you'll be inside this. Okay, the first thing you should always do is get an API key. Okay, so newsapi.org, first come to the site newsapi.org, and then simply sign up, create your account, and then you'll be logged in like this, and then click on get API key, and then you'll be simply getting the API key. Okay, here is my API key. Please, guys, please don't use my API key. Maybe I'll delete the account because I have very limited request, right? It's free account, so I have a limited request time. So if you guys use it, then if everyone is using it, you'll be unable to use it, right? Because there's a limit. It's a free account. So I'll suggest you guys to please go on and create your account. You'll also get the same number of requests as me, and you'll get a free account. So this is my API key. Just for now, I'll copy it and paste it somewhere. Okay, just for now, I'll copy it and paste it somewhere. Why it is not getting copied? Yep, now it is copied. Simple. Sandeep, you don't have to use my key, buddy. Fine, it's totally in front of you. You can use it, but the simple thing is, not all of you are gonna be able to use it because it has a limited request. So I'm suggesting you just go on this site, create a free account, newsapi.org. That's all. Newsapi.org. Simply go on, create a simple account, give your username, password, and everything. Create account, and then that's it. Done. Okay, guys, everyone. So I have the API key now, and now I'm going to tell you the URL. So I'm not going to go through the documentation here because you can use any other API as well, depending on the project. I'm going to tell you the URL, the base URL that we can use for this. Okay. So the URL goes like this. See, let URL equals, it goes like this, https://newsapi.org/ okay, now I think I forgot the URL. I have to check the documentation. Okay, let's click on everything here. Okay, then you'll get the URL here. Here we go. Yeah, I was correct. It's /v2. So this is the URL, guys. See, this is the URL. You can get it from here. Click on everything. Click on everything, and then you get this. See, so copy this URL. Okay, and then paste it here. Simply paste it here, and this is the URL you have to call. And you can see it's so simple. https://newsapi.org/v2, that might be their version of the API, slash everything, question mark q equals to what kind of news you want. Here you put it. So in this case, it's Bitcoin. You can change it to Microsoft. You can change it to anything you want. We're going to change it. Don't worry. For now, let's simply change it to Microsoft. Okay. So I want news related to Microsoft now. So I'm simply changing it to Microsoft. Yes, 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 Cherokee. You can use JSON placeholder. Not a problem at all. See, right now our project is depending on news. That's why I'm using this API. You can go for JSON placeholder. You can use any API. See, I am teaching you this. You can take it as a API consumption lecture, right? That's how you call APIs. I'm calling a news API. You call any other API. You get the data. You display it in your way. Totally fine. Why not? Why not? Right? It's totally up to you. Okay. And then here API key equals to your API key. That's it. Done. Simple. So in this case, it will by default give me Microsoft data. I can change it to anything. I'll show you how to change it. Don't worry. But let's use it right now. Okay. Let's use it right now. Everyone, let's use it. Okay, guys. So can we use it now, everyone? Okay. So I have the URL ready, and now, so don't worry. You can get it directly from the website newsapi.org. Create your account. Click on everything, and you get this URL, and you can change this Microsoft to anything. Bitcoin, Salman Khan, Bollywood, Hollywood, whatever you want. Just put the topic there. Okay, cool. Now, this is not the important thing. This is the simple thing. Okay, taking the URL, you can get it from anywhere. You can use any other API endpoint as well. Okay, exactly, nobody, exactly, you're correct, buddy. And I'm going to show you that as well. I am going to show you that as well. Don't worry. Now, guys, let's move on and let's see how to call this URL to get the data. So for that, I'm going to use the inbuilt JavaScript fetch API or fetch functionality. Simply write fetch and pass this URL there. Fetch this URL, and it will automatically send a GET request to it. Not a problem. And then it returns a promise. So to handle it, we use this .then function. And whatever response is coming, we get it inside this function. Now, this is basic JavaScript. So whenever you learn React, this is something that it should be by default with you. Okay, this is something that you should always have. This is basic JavaScript. Okay, response, and then you return it as JSON first of all. So response.json, which again gives you a promise. So again, you write a .then, and here you get your actual data. So write it like this: data, or let's call it something else like news. And then here I'm going to print console.log just to see what I'm getting from there. News. Okay, simple. So fetch URL. So basically this fetch will fetch data from that URL, but it will return you a promise. So to handle it, I use .then. Then I get a response, which will give me a response, and simply I'm saying it, I want you to resolve the data as JSON. So it resolves it and again gives a promise. So I again handle it, and this is the place where I get my data. Okay. We can use async await. Yes, Monish, why not? We can use it. But the async await concept is not like clear to everyone, I think. This is for the base for all the beginners. Because when we start learning promises, first we learn then catch, and then we go for async and await. So I'm using the medium thing because so that if anyone is beginner in JavaScript, if they know a little bit, then they can also understand it. Okay, Kunal, where is greater than? Oh, I missed this. Yes, I missed this. So sorry. Arrow function, right? I missed it. Yeah. Yes, Axios is also good. Axios is also good. I know that, but I personally use fetch. I personally like to use fetch because Axios is like a third-party library and fetch is like an inbuilt function. So I like to use fetch a lot, and I find it a lot simpler for me. Here we use effect for API fetch. What are the other case we can use for? What, fetch or use effect? I'm going to show you the one more use of use effect. Don't worry. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay. Can I explain promise? Okay. Okay, if I start explaining it, that might become a little, like the session might become a little bigger and will not have a lot of time to build everything. Um, okay, I'll explain you. I'll just simply tell you what exactly a promise is. So promise is nothing but like a functionality, simple, that is basically built to replace the concept of callback functions, because callback functions cause a lot of problems. So a promise is an object, okay, that returns two things. Okay, either it resolves or it rejects. Okay, so you can decide what do you want to return from resolve, what do you want to return from reject. Now see guys, this is the big concept. That's why I'm not explaining right now, because we are not here for promises, right? So the problem is, if I start teaching promises, it will take again half an hour to just like you guys to understand promises. So I'll suggest you to like go on my previous JavaScript sessions on the YouTube only, on Let's Upgrade channel. You'll find the lecture on promises, you'll find the lecture of async and await. I have explained it everything there. Okay, so I would suggest you to use all of that. Okay, so if I start explaining, because I'll take the next half an hour just to explain you promises, so I'm not even trying to explain it here. Okay, but just remember, just if I just want to give a one liner, it's simply a functionality and sometimes also an object which simply returns two things: resolve and reject. Okay, and it is basically used to like build to replace the concept of callback functions in asynchronous JavaScript. That's all. Resolve is like exactly, Mr. Nobody. It's correct. Exactly. Guys, please, I would suggest you to go on my previous sessions on Let's Upgrade, or go on anywhere, not a problem. Go on documentations on YouTube, go on anywhere and try to learn promises, because it's a like a little big topic. So you can understand it from scratch there. That will be better thing. Okay. Because if I just give you one liners, it will become confusing. Okay. So remember that, guys. Okay, everyone. So see, fetch URL. Once, see, I'll explain you like what exactly is happening here. Fetch this URL. Once I've got the response from the backend, then what? Then I get my response and I tell it I want it in JSON. It again returns a promise. Okay, it again returns a promise. Okay, then I say, okay, then once I got that promise, here I'll get my data. I want to do this. I want to get my data and print it. So then what? Once I've got the response, then what? I'm converting into JSON. Once I've converted into JSON, then what? I want to print it on the console. Simple. Okay. Save it now and let's see, are we getting the news? That is important thing. I would please guys, here we are not covering the explanation about how fetch works, how promises work. So I would please suggest you to go and watch my previous JavaScript sessions on Let's Upgrade channel. You'll get everything there about promises. I've explained it. Okay, guys. So I'm so sorry, because if I start explaining right now, it will take a lot of time. Okay, I was expecting this is because this is basic JavaScript. So if you're learning React, we already know JavaScript. So I'm assuming that. But don't worry. You can also go on the community, keep your doubts there, and I'll solve it for you. Okay, everyone? Don't worry about it. So now save it and let's see. Are we able to print the news on the console? Let's see. Refresh. And here we go. Perfect. See, guys, articles. See, guys, can you see it? Inside the news object, we get articles, and inside the articles, we have 20 articles related to Microsoft. And we have everything inside it. We have everything inside it. Where is that? Yeah. See this? Here we go. Author, content, description, published at, source, title, URL, and one image is also given. So everything is there. Why do you use let? I don't think you want to mutate URL. No, I don't want to mutate. I can use const there, but in future I want to change the value for it, and it's a normal variable. So that's why I'm basically using it like that. Okay, Arthur, I hope you're getting my point, buddy. Sir, how above code? How show above code one time? Okay. So guys, I hope we got it. We got our data. Okay, and which above code? Actually, now we're going to remove it. This was just an explanation that I gave you because you have already learned it in the last to last lecture. So I just gave you this explanation once again of states, but I'm going to remove it now. I'm going to remove it now. Okay. Chekuri then is nothing but it's a function that basically is called when the promise is resolved. Okay, but if you try to understand promises now, it will become really confusing. So I would suggest you to understand promises first and then understand, then try to understand fetch. Then it will become easier. So first go on and understand promises, and then you'll simply understand the fetch. Okay, Shekuri. So what is props? And one more, what is props? I think you have learned it, right? You guys have attended the last sessions, right? Props is nothing but properties of a component. That few are inbuilt and few that you pass from where you create, like use the component. So props are nothing but properties of the component. That's all. I'm going to show you that. We're going to use it. Don't worry. Okay, we're going to use it. We are going to use it, Nitish. So I'm going to show you how props work. Don't worry. So guys, are we clear with this? We got the news, we got everything. So in the news object, we are getting all these things, but we are only interested in articles. We are only interested in articles. We don't want the status and total results and everything. We are only interested in articles. So let's simply go on. Okay. And just put news dot articles. So I'll only get the articles instead of getting that whole status and everything, right? Okay. So here we go. Now we get the articles directly. 20 articles. Here we go. Okay. Now, next thing, let's remove the unwanted stuff. We don't need all these. Remove it. We don't need this function. Remove it. We don't need this, all the stuff here. Because now we are going to display the news that we have got from the backend. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to create a state variable in which I'll store my news. So let's use it. Use state, and let's call it articles. Because in this, I'm going to store my articles. And initially, it will be a blank array. Because initially, there's nothing. Initially, it will be a blank array. Okay. And now, once I got it, my data, I'm going to put my articles in the articles variable. So we call it what? Set articles. Set articles. And inside that, I pass my articles that I got from the internet. So news dot articles. Simple. So basically, whatever articles I got from the API, I pass it into this articles array. See, I created a blank array and I pass everything there. And now, time to display it. Everyone, so just like you pass numbers to state variables, I simply got all my articles from the API and I simply set it to my articles array that I have here. Here we go. I have here, right? So I just put it there. And now, time to display it. And see, you have also learned how to display data, right? In the last and last to last sessions. So I'm depending on that and doing everything here. Okay, guys. Console.articles. Here. Bikram, just after this, are you saying just after this? It is happening because set articles is asynchronous. That might be reason it is happening. So don't print it here. Don't print it here. If you're getting news.articles, you're cool. Not a problem at all. Because sir, A should be in caps in set article. Yes, it's up to us again. It's the convention that we follow. It's just a name. So if you are following, see, normally I follow that, but the inbuilt use state functionality is creating something like this. But yes, why not? We can change it. If we follow something like that, we can change it. Why not? I also follow this way of writing my method names, actually. Whether set articles is a function. Yes, Abdul, set articles is a function. Yep. And guys, please, if you're directly new here, I would suggest you to go and also watch the previous sessions of React. Everyone, if you're new here, I would suggest you to go and watch the previous sessions on React. Okay, guys, everyone? Okay, I hope Abdul and Anupam, you got your answer right? Cool. Now let's move ahead and let's display the articles. Everyone? So guys, please focus. So I'm gonna do some pretty cool styling here first of all. So class name, let's name it container. Let's open the app.css file, everyone, and let's write some CSS now. First of all, I'm going to remove this. I don't want this text line center. And let's go here and write my CSS, because here I'm going to write my own CSS. Okay, so dot container will have padding top of 50 pixels padding bottom of actually 40, not 50, actually 30, not even that. Okay, 30 pixels. Cool. 30 pixels. We have the container, and let's give it a background color just for now. So let's give it a background color of gray. Let's see even if we can see it. Here we go. You can see it, right? Okay, you can see it, the gray. That's what I wanted. And also I want to give it a width. So let's give it a width of 80% so that it is centered. And also margin left of 10%. Basically, I want it centered. And here we go. It is centered. Let's just make it a little small. There we go. It goes like this. Right, everyone? Perfectly fine. I have a div. Now, let's go ahead and let's put a title inside it. But before that, I want to create one more div inside this. Not if, we have to create a div. Okay, so let's say a div, and I'm going to give it a class of pad to it. So class name equals pad. This is basically for padding. That's all. So that we get an all around padding. Okay. So dot pad, it will simply get a padding for me. So dot pad, and I want to give it a padding of 20 pixel from all around. So padding, not bottom, from all around. So padding of 20 pixel from all around. Okay, that's all. Cool. Perfect. And now let's go on and let's start creating things. So inside this, let's create, okay, fine. So we'll also use external component, don't worry. But first, let's create it here. Then we'll move on to the external component. Okay, guys? First, let's create the output here, and then we'll move on to the external component. Okay, everyone? First, let's do it here. Okay. So now I want to display my articles, and my articles are stored in articles array. Okay. And we have multiple articles. So we have to map it. We have learned it, right? So let's go here. Put articles dot map. Inside this, we have two things. So article index and return this. And here we go. Let's start. Div slash div. Give this a class name of article. Okay, let's see how many divs are getting generated. We should get 20 divs because we have 20 articles, right? So we should get it first. Let's see. Let's apply some CSS to article. Dot article. Simply give it a height of 30 pixels and width of 100% and a background color of red. Just to see, are we getting multiple article divisions? Because if I get 20 articles and if I'm mapping it, I should get 20 article divs. Let's see. And here we go. Now everything is here, but we can't see it because everything is attached. So let's give some margin top to it. Let's give some margin top. So margin top 20 pixel. And here we go. See, we get all the 20 divs here. But we don't want them this small, but at least we get them. Okay. Now time to display everything that in the manner we want it to display. Okay. So let's get started. Inside this, what I want is I want two elements, one for image. So first thing I want here is I want a padding div again. So first I'll create a div. Okay. And I'll give it a class name of pad hyphen article. So this is the article padding. Pad hyphen article. And also this will not have any height. It will simply have a padding top of 10 pixel and padding bottom of 10 pixel. Then dot pad article. This is very basic CSS, okay, guys? So please focus. Only just focus, you'll understand everything. You can create your own design. It's totally up to you. Okay. So dot pad article. Okay. So I'm going to give it a padding from all around again. So padding of like 10 pixels again, or maybe 15 pixels. Let's see. Okay. So right now it is looking something like this. Totally fine. And yes, we have an error for key, I think. Yep. We have error that each child in a list should have a unique key. That means whenever you generate elements using the map, using looping, when you generate elements, you should give a key. So let's go on key, and it should be unique key. So here, this index thing is really unique. It is unique for each and every element. So just pass that index. It will create a unique key for each and every element inside the loop. And now the error should go away. Let's see. Refresh, and the error is gone. Simple. Okay, perfect. Now, time to display the news properly. And one more thing, guys. I wanted to add an H1 here. Simple H1. H1 and slash H1. All right, like all news. Let's see. All news. Perfect. We have this all news. And also, let's remove the gray color. I don't like that gray color. So just comment that out. Comment that out. That's gone. Perfect. Cool. Good looking. Now, let's put the image properly and everything. So in the first div, I want to put the image. Okay, so first of all, let's create the divs. So div slash div, give it a class name. Here I'm going to put that news image. So class name news hyphen img. And then in the next one, I'm going to display the author and some basic content and the link to read it on the official website. Okay, so let's do it here. So the next div, again, I don't know why my VS Code is not completing in the JSX, but that's fine for now because it works. Right now, I think PC is taking a lot of load. That's why it's not completing. So that's fine. News img and news hyphen detail. Cool. So inside part article, I have two things: news image, news detail, two divs. Let's style them both. So news hyphen img will simply have a width of around 20% maybe, and a height of around 200 pixels. And news detail will again have the same height. So height of around 200 pixels and a width of around, what do you call it, 20, and you can give it 70%. Okay. And let's give them background color so that we can identify properly. So let's give the news image a background color of green. And let's give the news detail a background color of yellow, just to identify them. Okay, just for now. Save it. And here we go. It's like this, but they are one below each other. I want them side by side. So for that, we know what we have to do. We'll simply go in part article and we'll say display flex by this. Here we go. Perfect. And one more thing, let's get some gap between them. So for that, it's again simple. You simply go and put justify content space between. So there will be a space between the elements. And here we go. And now it's like big space. So let's reduce the widths. Like let's increase the widths a little. So let's say it to have a 75% width. And now we'll only have, yeah, this much space is fine. Looks perfect. Since it could impact performance negatively and could lead to some unstable component behavior. Avinash, it is correct, but yep, for small elements, we can definitely use it. For small apps, we can definitely go for it. Yes, Avinash. So yes, if your app is small, if like you have simply some display data thing, that's all, no more operations, you can use indexes. That's why when I'm using indexes here. Otherwise, I would have not used it if it was like something really big I'm making. So for small things, it's fine. It's not wrong. It's fine for small elements. It will only cause problems if your like site is really big, it is using a lot of arrays and all the stuff, then it's going to be causing a problem. Okay, Avinash, I hope you understand my point, buddy. Okay, guys. So for small sites, you can definitely go for indexes, not a problem at all. For small applications like this, where you simply want to display a few things, that's all, nothing more. Okay, now we have it here. Okay, everyone. Now time to display the image here and everything else like author and everything here. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go on and let's start displaying them. So let's go here. And inside this, let's put image and src. Inside src, I'm simply going to use what? Article, but now we also have to see what is the name of the property. So let's console.log it again because I want to see what is the name of the property. So console.log news dot articles. Once again, just print it on the console so that we can see it, at least, and remove it from here. Just comment it out for some time, save it. Okay, now first of all, let's see what is the property name for the image in a single object. Let's see it. It's url to image. It's url to image for the image. So let's copy it. This is the property name, and let's use it. src article dot url to image. Save it. Let's see if we get. Oh, so images are really big. Let's adjust them. Images are really big. Let's adjust them. So for that, let's write some CSS for this as well. So give it a class, or let's not give it a class. We can directly use it. So let's go in CSS and write dot news hyphen img. Inside that we have an image tag, and for that I want a display of flex, and now the image should be adjusted. Let's see. Is it getting adjusted? Not yet. So let's give them a width of 100%. Oh, at the wrong place I'm giving display flex. I'm so sorry. This should be inside news img. Now let's see. At the wrong place I was giving display flex. Now let's see if it is rendering my image properly. Perfect. Got it. Now images are proper. Can you see that, guys? Everyone, can you see that? Guys, we got the image, and now finally there's a little cut. So for that, we're simply going to make it width of 100%. Save it. Now let's see. Okay, but depending on the width, there's an issue with the height then. So let's remove the display flex for some time and let's see. Then it goes like this. That's the problem. That's why I was like using it like this. So let's do one thing. Let's put it there so that it converts everything, and let's increase the size. So decrease the size of the article and increase the size of the news img. So here we go, like this, and let's see it now. And now it's almost perfect. Perfect. Now this is fine. Now images are a little blur, but that's fine. Images are a little blur, but that's fine. And yes, guys, you can like write CSS according to you. It's totally fine. You guys know CSS. You can write CSS according to you. And they give images. The images that they give are a little blur, but that is fine. That is fine. See, you can see we have all the articles here. Okay, guys. So everyone, these images are not like we are not creating these images. We are not providing these images. These images are directly coming from the news API. So we can't do anything. We have to use it, even if it is blur, even if it is not properly cropped. We have to use it. But we can make the other things looks good. So let's make it. Now also we want to read the other properties here. So let's open one object and let's read all the properties. So now I want to display the author first. So let's go ahead. Or first of all, where's the title? Yeah, I want to display the title first. So let's display the title first. Yes, don't worry, Revant. You can like definitely use your own kind of CSS. Totally fine. Right now I'm just doing it like a little CSS, like just to make it look good, right? But if you sit, you can write a lot of CSS and make it like look wonderful. So that's totally fine. Okay, let's see. First complete everything, then we'll come back to CSS and we'll try to change few things. It's totally fine. Okay, perfect. Now let's go here and let's put an H3. And also I want to change the font family. So where is news detail? Okay, so font family, again Cjo UI. Go here now, and inside H3 I want to display the title. So article dot title. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go with our title. Okay, we have our title here. Perfect. Now, I think I should use H2 for this, not H3. And perfect. Here we go. H2 is fine. Now let's show the author as well, just below it. So let's use a p tag for that. We'll style it, don't worry. So let's display the author name. So for that, I'm going to use article.author. So let's go here and put article.author. Okay, cool. It is there, perfectly fine. We'll style it, don't worry. This is, I think, the H2's margin on the top and the bottom. That's why we're getting it like this. We'll reduce it. And I also want to display some content. That's all. I also want to display some content from the news. So content will be bigger. Let's see, first of all, in the console, how big is the content? I want to display all of the content. I want to display some parts of the content. That's all. So where do we have it? In the description, how much we have? Okay, description is big. Content is also fine, but yep, we also have plus 883 characters. So we should take description. Description is fine. Description is looking good. Small content. Okay. Description is good. So let's take the description part and let's take one more P here and put description there. Let's go here and put article dot description. Okay, so now, yep, yeah, spelling is correct. Description, and let's see how our output is looking now. Yes, we also want to use this URL at the end. This is the actual URL. So we'll use it in some time. Don't worry, URL. Just remember the property name URL, and we can close it now. Here we go. We have the description now. And finally, let's display a button for read more. Should we display a button for read more? But before, let's style all of this. Okay. Let's style all of this. Let's go here and put H2 and put the margin bottom 10 pixel or maybe 5, not 50, 5. Save it. Okay, it's not going there. So I feel we should do it important. It's having a margin bottom, right? H2. They by default have margins on the top and bottom, H1 heading tags and all this stuff. Let's see. If I put some element in between, let's confirm it once. This is the H2 and it is margin. What else it is having? It is having this. Okay, let's do this first. Let's simply say margin 0 pixel. What is why the second author is a link? Because I think that's what they are providing. So the problem is, if that's what they are providing, we are not causing that. Don't worry, Mr. Nobody. That's what they are providing, because it might be that particular site is providing that particular news. Okay, and that particular site is like not displaying author. They have just given, okay, fine, this is the news from our company. There is no author, so that's why maybe they are using link. Okay, no, it's not line height actually. It's not line height. First, actually, I want to use this. It's not going away. I don't know why. All these margins are here. And yes, we know that it is margin. It's not going away. Okay. Let's see. Now, this is some really simple issue. Don't worry about these guys. This is a really simple problem of CSS. So you don't have to worry about it. Let's see. Where is this? This is having a margin. What about this? We'll solve it. Don't worry. You can see it. It is having a margin. No, it's not having a margin. Then P is having a margin. That's great. Really great. So H2 and P, everyone will have a margin of 0 pixel now. Perfect. P was out. So we removed the margin from H1, but we didn't H2, but we didn't remove the margin from P. So that was the problem. Now it is solved. Now you can see it is solved, and here we go. Okay. Now what I want is I want to like display the author in a good format. So what I want here is p nth child 1 half margin bottom 15 pixel. Let's see if it is working. Come on. No, again. How is that possible? And child 2. Now it will have, yep, perfect. It is having it now. And I want the color of particular to become gray. And I want to increase the font size a little. Font size around 20 pixel maybe. Yep. And font weight bold. Perfect. Now it's, I think 20 is a little more. Let's reduce it to like 17. Oh, not 27, 17. Okay. No, Rohit Singh box sizing border box is different. So it's different. Okay, so now this is fine. This is cool. This is cool. And also I want the text color. So p nth child 3 color be gray. Now we can afford a read more button because we have that much space. So we can afford a read more button. So let's create a button down there. And on that, we'll just put the link. Okay. So P again, and inside that P, I'm going to create a button for like read full article. You can do a button, you can give a link, it's totally fine. I'm giving it a button. You can also give it a link, it's totally fine, it's totally up to you. Let's give it a class so that class btn. Yes, I'm going to remove yellow. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Right now, it's just for looking. Guys, this is not the final color of the website. Don't worry, guys. I just do it because I want to see everything. We're going to remove everything. Don't worry at all, guys. Don't worry at all. We're going to make it look good. We are going to make it look good. Don't worry. Okay. It's just for what you call looking so that we can rectify each and every div. Okay. We're not going to use yellow. Don't worry. Okay. But yes, we'll also use your suggested color, Sujal. Don't worry. Yellow is not the one we are going to use. Don't worry, Sujal. And you're back, Sujal. I remember you from the JavaScript Essentials, buddy. You're back. Great to see you again, buddy. Okay. Now let's style the button. So .btn. Let's give it a padding left of around 30 pixel. Padding right of around 30 pixel. Padding top of around 10 pixel. And padding bottom of around 10 pixel. And font family Cjo UI. And border none, color white, and background color something like related to blue, but not this blue. We'll change it, don't worry. And font weight bold, text transform uppercase, font size 18 pixels. Okay, that's cool. Let's see how much is getting applied to it. Perfect. Not this blue. Don't worry. We're going to change this blue. Don't worry at all, guys. We're going to change this blue. And also, I want to like write some CSS for it. So p nth child 4, or instead of this, let's simply give margin bottom to this. So margin bottom of 15 pixel again, or maybe 20 pixel. And to the button, I'm going to give a border radius of around 10 pixels. Perfect. Now let's change the color of this. So inspect. And let's select a good color for it. So blue, but not this blue. So let's go to a lighter part of the blue. Let's go like, this is a good color. So let's take this, close it, put it instead of this. And also to the news detail, I want to give a padding left of around 20 pixel. Perfect. So I get it now. And also a padding top of 10 pixel. Yes, why not? See, colors are like, I'm leaving it up to you. Use any color you want. Totally fine. I'm totally fine with any color. So use any color. I'm just using like, I'm just doing few things. You can choose any colors for you. It's totally fine. Right. Now finally, time to make okay, fine. So let's make the complete page like body, background color, light gray, something like that. Let's see if we get it. Perfect. We get the light gray color. And article will become white. Okay. And also we'll remove the green. We'll remove the yellow. Let's see. Yep, that's gone now. So now it is looking pretty cool. And now you can use like totally fine. Now you can like change, give some shadows to it and whatever you want. So you can like give some border radius to it as well. So you can go to the, where is that article thing? Yep, go to the article thing and give it like again a border radius of 10 pixels here. You should have some border radiuses around it. Okay. And if you want, you can like, if you like, you can just go to news detail and give it a border. Or you can simply give it a box shadow, actually, not border, box shadow, 002 pixel gray. See? So that it has like a border. Yeah, perfect. So like this you can have. Now finally, let's click on this button. And now when I click on this button, I should go to the actual news, to the actual article. Okay, guys. So let's do the final thing. Everyone, let's do the final thing. Okay, and everyone, if I miss any chat, let me just see. Okay, so everyone is just suggesting colors. That's cool. That's cool. Now, guys, see, once I give this project to you, once you get this, choose any color you want. It's totally up to you then. Choose any color you want. Okay, guys? Choose literally any color you want. Okay, cool. Now, let's do the final touch. Final thing, actually, not the touch. On click of that button, I should go to the article, the actual article. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that button inside a tag, which is for link. Okay, /a. And inside that, inside this a, in the href, I'm going to put a link that is article.url. Save it. Now let's see if we get it. Now you can also like give it a hover effect through the button. It's totally fine if you want to give. Let's see, are we getting it? Click, and here we go. We get to the link, actual link. See? Guys, can you see it? Click. Here we go. Oh, I think yep, here we go. Microsoft appoints CEO Satya Nadella. So whatever it is, we'll go to that link, particular link. But let's also add one more thing, that whenever someone clicks on the link, we want to go to the new page. So simply target input what? You have blank. So target blank will always make it move to the new page. My PC is working a little slow, guys, so don't worry. It's a little slow because a lot of things are opened correctly. Okay. So now let's again see if I click, it is going. And also, I want to do one more thing. Where is the button? You can also give it a hover effect. It's totally up to you. I simply give this cursor. Okay. It takes a little time to load. Totally fine. And here we go. We have the cursor pointer. And now if I click on anywhere, any link, it's totally fine. It will work. Here we go. Okay. To the actual link of the news, and you can read it here. Everyone, are we cleared with this? Guys, are we cleared with this much? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with this much? And yes, guys, if you guys are like enjoying the session and everything, please like and share. That will like help us a lot, right? So please always do it. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared with this? Please tell me. Are we cleared with this? Now, one more thing. We want to give user a search feature, right? Where he can like write Google or Bollywood or Hollywood and search for that particular news, so that this Microsoft news will go away and that particular news will come, because by default we have Microsoft, right? So now let's make the next functionality of searching. Let's give a search functionality to the user. Okay, everyone? And yes, guys, please, if you're like enjoying the session, understanding everything, please always don't forget to like and subscribe and share. That's very important for us, right? You know that. So now let's do the filter part. Okay. So again, let's go down here and let's create the search field first. So I feel I should be creating it above the all news. Okay. So let's do it here. So div, let's give it a class name of filter. Okay. And let's go here, write it down here, totally fine. So let's simply write filter CSS and dot filter. Give any height. So for now, let's give like height around 40 pixels maybe, and width of 100%. And just for now, give it a background color of red, just to see it, so that we can see it. Okay, so that we can see it. Okay, and here we go. We have the red. Perfect. Let's give it 50. I think that 40 was looking a little smaller. 50 is fine. Perfect. 50 is fine. And now I want to add these two things there: the search bar and the search button. So in the text box, he will write in the bar, and when he clicks on the search, he will search. So let's start two things. First is the input field. Okay, and next is the button, which I'll again give it a class of btn. And if you want, guys, don't give any height, so that the height will automatically increase depending on the content. Don't give any height. Totally fine. Now let's give a height to the input. That is important. So input will have a height of 40 pixel and width 100%. Okay. So type equals search and placeholder equals anything like enter a topic to search, something like that. Save it, and let's see if we get it. And let's also save the CSS page. There we go. enter topic search, and a really bad looking button because we don't have any text on it. Let's put some text on it. Search for news. And here we go. Perfect. Let's add some gaps and all the stuff. So let's do that as well. Okay. So for input, I'm going to give it a margin top of 10 pixel and margin bottom 10 pixel and display of inline block. Let's see. It takes a little time to refresh. Yeah, cool. And I actually want it to be 50 pixels and I want the font size to be around 20 pixels and a little text indent. So let's put a text indent of 20 pixel over there. Now it should be bigger and the text indent should be there, right? Perfect. I think 20 is little big. No, 20 is little big. So font size, I want it to be 18. And also I want to give a border radius of 10 pixels and outline none. And what else? Yep. Border, no, not border radius, border of 1 pixel solid gray. Save it. You should have it. And now you can remove the red. Remove the red and we should see it in a good way. Let's see. Refresh. And here we go. Perfect. Enter topic to search. And then you have search for news. So everything is going on pretty cool, right? So you have this, you can write anything you want. And then you can just click on search for news and it should be working. Now, let's build the logic, guys. Okay, everyone? Rohit, Revant, everyone, let's build the logic. So final things, let's do it. But first of all, we have to understand how to read the input value. So for that, let's create first of all, to store it, let's create a state variable. So again, use state. Okay, and let's name it like search. Let's name it search. Okay, and initially it will be dummy, like any dummy text. So let's put it like this, dummy blank text. Okay, that's all. And now let's create the function. Let's create the function. First of all, a function to read the value of that particular text field. Function, spelling mistake, function read value, okay, in which I'm going to get my value. Okay, and I'll simply set it to what? The state. So set, what is the function name? Set search. And also I forgot to capitalize my name. So let's do it. Set search. Set search. Okay, and pass the value. This function is basically to pass the value. That's all. And let's call this function on change my input field. So on change, I'm going to call event. And here, I'm going to call the function. What is my function name? Read value, right? So read value, in which I'm going to pass event dot target dot value, which will basically get me the current field's value. And that, what I'm getting, I'm putting inside set search. That means basically into this variable. That's it. That's what I wanted. Once it is inside this variable, we can create a function for searching. So let's create a function. But instead of creating a function, let me think. If the state is changed, we can use a use effect here. So now, guys, see, we have two ways. Now we have two ways of doing it. Okay, now we have either we can go for a use effect or we can create a function. So let's not waste a use effect here. Let's create a separate function for it. Okay, a function, and we can call it anything like search news. Yeah, why not? Search news. Thinking of names is a pretty like bad thing. Okay, now we simply have to do the exact same thing. Okay, we simply have to do the exact same thing, but here. And instead of Microsoft, we have to put our search variables value here. But for that, first of all, convert it into template string. So template, and then instead of Microsoft, here put dollar. What are you saying? Use effect. There is actually no need of using use effect here because we have a button for it. We are not searching it on the click on the type of user because user can also type some wrong things. Okay, but yes, I will cover it as well. Let's first see if it is working, then I'll do it. We should append the search item to the query in the API URL and then pass the modified URL. What are you saying? We should append the search item. You're saying like the already search thing should also be there. You're saying that, debong gamer. Don't worry, we're gonna clear it a lot. But now I don't think that's a good idea of appending the already having result and the new result, because if I search for Bollywood, I only want the news of Bollywood, not of Microsoft, right? So that is one important thing. Okay. So let's go on, guys. Okay, fine, Rohit. I will also use use effect here. Don't worry. Let's first complete it like this. Then I'll also use effect to show you how it is working. Is that clear, Rohit? Okay. First, guys, let's see now. So here, put the search state value, search, and that's it. And let's call this function. Let's call this function on that button. So on click, I'm going to call. What is the function? Search news. And let's see now. On click search news will basically call the exact same thing, but with a new search value. That's all. It is doing the exact same thing that we are doing in use effect, but with a new search value. And that's it. Let's see. Everyone, let's see if it is working. Refresh the page. Try it out. So let's say Apple and search. And here we go. The image is not, so all the images changed. I think for this news that there are same images, that's why this image is not changed. But you can see all, okay, it took a little time. So sorry, it took a little time. And here we go. We have the news of Apple. Can you see, everyone? Now you can also add a loader in between so that user will not wait like this, but to all of that we need a lot of time and we can't do it right now. Otherwise I would have added a loader in between. Like if I search for something, a loader will come, it will like load, and then we can have it. So user will not like see the sudden change. But right now we don't have that much time, but if we want we can add that loader. It's totally fine. Don't worry, we'll do it in some other essentials. Let's search for what we can call any famous personality. I don't know, maybe Ronaldo. Let's see. Ronaldo. Do we get any news? Here we go. News related to Ronaldo. Okay. So our search is working perfectly. Okay, guys. Everyone, are we cleared with this? Guys, are we getting cleared with this? Please tell me. If we use effect, then there is no need of this button actually. But then that will like make it more complex because currently it is working really slow. Tell us about get ignore to hide API key. So you can store your API key in a file if you want, and then inside get ignore you have to mention that file. That's all, Bhavin Bhagat. That's all. Inside get ignore you basically mention your files that you don't want to upload to GitHub, right? So you store your API key in a file as like some key and value pair, and just in the get ignore file mention that file, and that's it. Done. Yep, I'm gonna add it. Don't worry, Revant. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add that no data found. Don't worry. Okay, guys. So now what if, okay, first of all, we have to see what comes as a response if no data is found. First of all, we have to see that. Okay. So what comes from the backends if no data is found? Okay. So let's first see that. And there's an issue actually. Class. Okay, I have used class somewhere. I have to change it to class name. I think by mistake, I have used class somewhere. Where have I used class? Where have I used class? Where have I used class? I think by mistake. Yep, here we go. Class name. Okay, so that was a mistake, and everything else is fine. Split. Now, what if I don't get any data? But for that, I have to first of all confirm what comes from there. If I search for something that is not that does not exist, and currently it's not responsive, guys. So don't worry, don't think we have not made it responsive. Okay, you can make it responsive using your CSS. Let's see. Let's search for some dummy thing like blah 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 blah, whatever you want, and let's see what comes from there. So we simply get a blank array, and that's a really cool thing. We wanted a blank array, so let's do it. So now for that, we have to do this. While displaying, let's do this. Okay, so first of all, check articles dot length is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, then I simply want to display no data found. So I'm going to simply use an h2. Okay, and I'm simply going to display no data. Okay, and I forgot about this. No data found. Else, we're going to show everything else. So that's how it works. Everyone, that's how it works. Simple. So if articles.length is equal to 0, then no data found. Otherwise, all this thing that I have here. Save it. Let's see now. See, here we go. No data found, but it is initial, so it will load it. Here we go. And yes, we also have to clear the field after search. We should or we should not. See, by default, we get no data found till the time it is loading. Once we got it, it's loaded. Okay. Sir, again explain button search function and articles. See, I'll explain it. Don't worry. See, what happens is, see, when I click on the button, I call search news. What is search news doing? It's doing nothing. It's simply creating the URL again with the new thing that I'm searching. So I'm putting it here. And then again, the same thing, fetch URL, get everything, set articles. It will set the articles again. That means the state is getting changed. It will re-render it and I can see the new output. Hema, that's how it is working. It's simple. It's working exactly same like use effect, but on click. So when I click on the button, it again prepares the URL, but with the new search thing that I want to search, the new text that I want to search, and then again calls fetch, gets the data, changes the state of the article, right? And when the state is changed, we know that it re-renders. So it re-renders the new articles. Is that cleared? Is that cleared? Hema, is that cleared? Loader, I think we can use a simple GIF for that. I feel we can use a simple GIF for the loader. I think. Let's see, first of all, what do we get here if I search for something? And don't worry, guys, this API is not slow. My PC is currently slow because it has a little less RAM. So I think we can adjust for that. So let's go for it. Okay. So here we go. Let's search for Apple. Search. Here we go. It changes. If you want to implement a loader, then I think, no, it will be a little task. It will be a little big task to add it right now. We'll take, because now we only have like 10 minutes more and I want to ask like what is your doubt and everything, so we have to do the question answering thing. So adding loader will take a lot of time now. Okay, don't worry, when I submit this project to you, I will add the loader and give it to you. Will that do? Because it will take a little time, and to explain it to you again, then we'll be unable to solve all your doubts and stuff. Okay, because we are actually already above time. We will like our time was till 7:30. Okay, and it's 7:49. So I hope you understand, guys. Everyone, I hope you're understanding, guys. Everyone, please tell me. So one thing I can do is, the best thing I can do here is, see, hint about loader, you can use a GIF. So use a GIF and put it where I have put no data found. So till the time array is empty, put that, display that, otherwise display your data. Okay, so till the time array is empty, display the loader. So at that time, loader will be displayed. So that might be a hint. Okay, that's actually the hint. So you can use a GIF. Don't go for creating loaders, or don't search for creating loader in React or something like that. You will get a big functionalities, third-party packages. Don't do that. Simply get a loading GIF. Okay, guys. Simply get a loading GIF and use it. Okay, that will be the easiest. Okay. Okay, so now our search is working. Okay, and I think, yep, that's it now. And see, if you want to use effect here, you can do this, guys. See, if you want to use effect here, you can do this. You can create another use effect. Okay? I'll tell you. You can create another use effect like this. Okay? Instead of search, put this use effect here. Okay? Let me just and copy this search functionality, put it inside use effect, and then you can tell this use effect that you have to work based on the change of search state. Past search here, and now it will work if I start typing, because if I type, the state changes. We know that, and if the state changes, this use effect will be called. Okay, let's see if you want to work. Let's see. Now our search will work on both the things. Once on use effect. So see what is happening. The first use effect is loading it on component mount. Read value is reading the data when I type into the text, and it is also setting the search. It is also changing the state of search. Search news is getting called on button, and this use effect will be called when I start typing, because when I start typing, the state of the search changes. And if the state of the search changes, I have mentioned this use effect will be called on change of the search state. Okay, save it, and let's see if it is working first. Oh, there's an issue. Cannot read property length of undefined. Why is that? Refresh it, load it again. Length, I think, is this use effect is also getting called. Yup. So let's put a blank array here at the start. Then it will be replaced, don't worry. Because it is trying to. Yep. So now it's perfect. By default, we're getting news for Microsoft. Why it is unable to read the length? It is a blank array. It should be 0 initially. Cannot read property length of undefined where. How is that possible? I think it's because this use effect is getting called and initially search. Okay, yeah, got it. Let's do one thing. Let's put Microsoft in search as well initially. Microsoft. Simple. That is the solution. Don't put it blank, put it Microsoft. Here we go. Perfectly working. Now see guys, what I'm telling you is, now if I start typing, it will simply start searching. See, simply start searching. So I type AP, gives me the news related to AP. APPLE, it changes. It changes continuously. As I type, it changes. As I type, it changes. And see, we got the live news. Previously here, it was a different news, and now we have a different news. So now it is working on typing as well. It will work on if I click here. Okay, it will work for both. If I say app, see all the news related to app. Is that clear, guys? So that's what I'm telling is, if I use effect, so what is happening here is the search is getting called on use effect. And when is this use effect getting called? I told you, I explained initially, right? I have mentioned that if this search changes, if the value of search changes, call this use effect. If the value of search changes, call this use effect. That is what is happening here. Okay. Yes, Mr. Nobody, we can do that as well. That's what actually we should do always. But to do it right now, it's like quite impossible because not everyone will understand all of the things, right? How to make it smooth? First of all, see, it will work smoothly in your computers. Don't worry. Currently, my computer is working a little slow. So it will like increase the performance by 50% in your computers. So don't worry about that first of all. Okay, Sandeep, it will be working smoothly in your PCs. Okay, and it is getting transferred over the internet, right? So sometimes it happens. Don't worry at all about it. Okay, and yes, all about like to learn about everything else, like how to make it perfectly smooth and optimized and everything, we have our sessions where we teach it completely from the scratch and everything about React. Okay, so these were essentials, so we were trying to like cover everything for you so that you can see what actually we can do even in so much short time. So what can we do in long time? That's what we wanted, like that's what we wanted to show. And we also wanted you guys to learn it freely directly from us. So that's why we have it for you. Yes, Sandeep, we can do that as well, buddy. Why not? But now we are off time because at 8 I also have a different session. Okay, so whatever you guys are like asking here, we can do everything. Literally, we can do everything. Okay, but right now we don't have that much time. Okay, so guys, the project is complete. So now our search is also working on typing. Now our search is also working for on the click of search for news. Now, if you want, you can remove that button. It's totally fine, guys. If you want, you can remove that button, guys. I think tomorrow we don't have any session, right, Harshit? Today is the last session of React, I feel. And that's why I was here to like show you how to create a project in React. Okay. So guys, you guys tell me, have you guys understood everything about the project? And was it interesting? And did you like it, love it? Please let me know in the chat, guys. That's what like motivates me a lot. Okay. So please let me know in the chat. Did you understood everything? Did you like the session? Love the session? Please let me know in the chat. Okay, guys, please. And that's it for today, actually. That's it. We have like completed the project. Now we can display everything. Now we can search. We can search on typing. We can search on clicking. So we have everything. Okay. So I really, really hope that you guys understood everything. I really, really hope that you liked the session. And that's it for today, guys. Okay. And I'll definitely see you in the next essential sessions or in the advanced sessions if you come there. Okay, where I teach literally everything about React, about Angular, about Vue, about everything. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I really, okay. I'm really happy that you guys enjoyed it, loved it, and everything. I'm really, really happy. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. And that's it for today. And I'll see you in the next sessions or in the advanced sessions if you come there. Okay, guys. So that's it. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Bye bye. I'll see you in some other sessions, guys. Okay. Bye, everyone. Good night. And if you're interested, please go on LetsUpgrade.in and register to the community. And you'll also get the news and everything about our new courses and everything and all about the advanced courses as well. So if you want to see, if you want to like what we do and what we teach, and if you want to join, you can just go on there and be there. And also please join the community where you can ask your doubts, and I'm going to be there. All the other trainers going to be there. We're going to solve your doubt. Okay, guys. So bye bye, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for being there, guys. Bye bye.